When I decided to through hike the Appalachian Trail in 2022 and I began telling all my friends and family that I was going to do this, most of the people that I told were very concerned for my safety. Now, I'm personally not really somebody who is super concerned about my own safety, but because of the continuous mention of dangers, I had to weigh some of the dangers with regard to through hiking alone as a woman. And today I want to talk about that a little bit more because I'm sure there are some women that are a little bit concerned about doing something like a through hike by themselves. The first thing that I did or wanted to do in order for me to feel more safe is have some sort of weapon. And I was lucky enough that one of my subscribers got me something called a neck knife. And it is a knife that I carry on my neck, and it's something where I can easily take the neck knife out of its sheath and I would be able to use for protection. The good thing about the knife is that you can also use it for cutting food or other things, but ultimately having something like a neck knife near my body was something that made me feel a lot more comfortable. The second thing that I did is to prepare for my through hike and my safety was taking some sort of self-defense class. Now, I was again very lucky that one of my students happened to know defense maneuvers, and just before I started the hike, he and his wife met me at the dance studio and we did some defense maneuvers, and they were really helpful because I was always very concerned about somebody coming from behind me or, just attacking me. And so the maneuvers helped me feel a lot more prepared for a sudden attack. So for the sense of feeling safe, I would recommend taking some sort of self-defense class or preparing yourself for a situation where you could not necessarily grab your defense device, such as a knife or pepper spray or anything like that. When you decide to through hike, your friends and family are going to be very concerned about where you are at what time and what day. And so one of the best things to do as a female hiker, a male hiker as well, but especially as a female hiker, is to give your friends and family an idea of what you're going to hike at that particular day and how long it should take you and what is the reasonable time that you'd be able to contact them again. Sometimes you won't have any sort of cellular connection, so I told my friends and family that you might not hear from me every single night, but you should expect to hear from me every 2 to 3 nights. I will make a point of somehow getting in contact with you. A way to ensure that you are going to stay in contact with your family is to have some sort of GPS device that allows you to use satellite communication, and you're able to use this device to send text messages or notifications to your family. One of my trail family members, Fox, had one of those, and she would send her mom a message every single night, so that way the mother would know that she's safe every single day. When it comes to telling people where you are, you should choose wisely which hikers you will tell your whereabouts. There is a question that seems to trigger a lot of women, and that is, where are you staying tonight? I personally don't see this as a danger question from anybody, just because when you're hiking and you're meeting other hikers, there's really not much to talk about except how many miles and where are you staying tonight. And so some women feel that when a man asks them, where are you staying tonight, that it is some sort of question trying to find out where they're staying so that they could be bothered or assaulted. But even though I personally didn't feel that way, some women do. So as a man, perhaps don't ask that question because it does trigger women. And I'm not saying triggering in a bad way, it just really affects some women in a certain way. So maybe don't ask that particular question. Just know which hiker you can have this conversation with and be open to communicating, hey, I don't feel comfortable necessarily telling you where I am, but I don't know. It's one of those questions that's a little bit questionable. So yeah, as a lady hiker, choose wisely who you will tell where you're going to be and when you're going to be there. So that's just it's really up to you. In general, having great situational awareness is very important. When I would hike by myself throughout the day, I was aware of my surroundings. I was listening to different sounds. I watched other hikers pass me. I watched their body language. I watched their maneuvers, and that's just me knowing people. I work with a lot of people. I also have a degree in criminal justice, so I'm very weary or aware of my surroundings, and therefore I find that I have generally a great situational awareness. As a woman, trust your gut instinct. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. Your body generally tells you if there is something weird going on. And so if there is a strange person or there's an animal, try to get out of the situation and don't feel like you're going to offend anybody. Sometimes we as women feel really bad about offending other people, that we want to be safe, and you know what? Your safety is way more important, and offending other people, I'm sorry. Like nowadays people get offended by everything, but your safety is more important, so don't you even worry about offending anybody, okay? Okay. If hiking by yourself seems super scary, I do recommend for you to find a group that you would like to hike with. We call this a tramily, a trail family, just people that you get along with and that look out for each other. And Fox and Cheeseball, for example, they always hiked with each other all day long. And I myself, I like to hike by myself, but we always knew where we were going to stay every single night, and we would always meet up at that point. So it's really up to you how you want to hike with people, but having other trail members be aware of you and hike with you, or at least know where you're going to be, is very important for your safety. Because if you don't show up where the agreed place was, then those hikers will become aware and make sure that they search for you or they look out for you. The same goes for hitchhiking. I'd never hitchhiked by myself. I always had a person with me, and honestly, I would recommend hitchhiking with other people simply because you never know who you're going to get a ride from, and hitchhiking with other people just feels a lot safer. I understand that hiking as a woman can be very intimidating and very scary, but you really don't have to worry about anything. Personally, I don't feel that way. I felt the Appalachian Trail was extremely safe. I felt the trail community was very welcoming and looked out for each other. When there were some questionable characters on the trail, we made sure that we all knew about it and that we protected each other. It is unfortunate that as a woman we do have to have certain things that we need to look out for that men do not, and I think sometimes men don't understand that. For example, when I go to my car at night from work and I see another car parked next to my car, I have to think, is there somebody else in that car, and is he or she going to attack me, right? I don't think men really ever have to think about that. I'm not saying they don't, but from talking with other men, it doesn't ever cross their mind. So unfortunately, we have to have those concerns, and it's sad that we do, but we do. And so guys, know that sometimes we react a little bit strange just because we have worries, but we love all y'all, and we all can hike together, and it can all be a good time. And ladies, don't worry, it's gonna be so much fun and you'll be safe. Just take some precautions and you'll be safe. And just so you know, I do post hiking, through hiking, or Appalachian Trail related videos almost every week. So if that's your kind of thing, do think about subscribing, hitting that notification button, or anything that you need to do to be notified about my videos. Thank you so much.